of the Barbie theme song is of an entertaining, playful song that describes the ideal lifestyle of a Barbie doll. With lyrics such as life and plastic, it's fantastic. It's hard to conceive why someone would not be intrigued or have a desire to obtain this seemingly attainable lifestyle. With perfection that dolls present on a pedestal, young girls are encouraged to idolize and even emulate toys in an effort to gain the same recognition. Barbie is the most glorified piece of plastic that there will ever be. The toy is the pinnacle of female perfection in our society. Marketing presents Barbie as a dream for all young girls. She seems to have it all. Barbie is a cocktail recipe for what our generation believes will lead to happiness. Beauty, love, popularity, admiration, and fame. A generation of females have been brainwashed into believing that is the only way to achieve happiness is to become a replica of Barbie. In 2004, Tara Cooker and Eric McDonald performed 2 studies with children to evaluate early adolescence experience with and views of Barbie. Some perceive Barbie as a positive one, the majority as a negative one. One concluded, Barbie has this perfect body, and now every girl is trying to have her body because they are so unhappy with themselves. Children have learned by what they are exposed to. They are bombarded by false examples of true femininity and beauty. Now the only version of aesthetics they know are these abominable ones that have been shoved down their throats. A society where happiness and positivity is only portrayed through physical beauty, girls feel an immense amount of pressure to achieve this. They feel as though self-worth can only be attained through their physical aesthetics and that their other positive attributes should be discounted. In many cases, these children are driven to use dangerous and unhealthy methods. 42% of girls in 1st through 3rd grade wish they were thinner. There have been records of anorexia and bulimia patients as young as 7 years old. What could drive a person of such a young age to starve themselves? The horrible aspiration to be what society tells them females should be. They must be skinny like Barbie. They must be pretty like Barbie. They must be sexy like Barbie. They must be athletic like Barbie. That is the only way to be accepted and happy in our community.
Barbie, the most prominent doll in the doll industry, is the figurine of perfection. Young girls admire her, yet she isn't a realistic person that young colored girls are able to emulate. Her slender body, flawless features, and tall stature are adored by young girls. From exposure to such a doll at a young age, they make her body the goal for their own as they transition into womanhood. They receive the misconception that Barbie is reflective of women. Therefore, they should mirror her physique. They don't realize that Barbie portrays impossible aesthetic goals. Scaling her to human size shows her physical proportions unattainable. Rehab.com, a website mental health centers turn to as a resource, evaluated Barbie's measurements. They concluded the following. Her waist is smaller than her head, so there's only room for half the liver and a few inches of intestines. Her feet would be a child size 3 and her ankles 6 inches around. Therefore, she would be incapable of walking upright. Her thighs would be a mere 16 inches, when the average women's are 25. In 1965, Mattel introduced Slumber Party Barbie. An accessory included a scale set to 110 pounds. According to the University of Washington, the healthy weight for a 5'9" woman is about 145 pounds. Trying to acquire Barbie's figure will ultimately kill someone. They die from anorexia before ever accomplishing it. When people think of Barbie, they think perfection. Tara Cooker and Aaron McDonald's study found that some of the girls reported perceiving Barbie as a positive role model because she exemplifies perfection. This perfection is seen as a standard by which females have to meet, but perfection is not an attainable standard. Perfection is a myth, an idea, a fallacy. Perfection is impossible, yet Barbie shows it to be attainable because she has it. I've proved that Barbie's body cannot be emulated. What else can a girl do to reach this perfection? Well, Barbie has an immense wardrobe, a furnished mansion, and a pink convertible. Material items become an obsession for girls to compensate for their inability to become something they can never be, perfect. They dedicate their time to acquire luxuries that they've learned will bring them a step closer to perfection. Barbie has many accessories. One could never obtain the luxuries necessary. Therefore, they're constantly seeking more and more items. A CNN article read, "The largest growing economic force in the world isn't China or India, it's women." Researchers from a money-saving website surveyed over 2,000 women and learned the average woman owns 20 pairs of shoes but only wears 5 regularly. Young black girls can try as hard as they can to get what Barbie has to no avail, because Barbie is unreplicable.
The idea of living in a luxurious, wealthy, and carefree world with a universally appreciated aesthetic, blonde hair, a slim waist, and blue eyes. These traits all having Eurocentric connotations. Is something blacks either consciously or subconsciously have a desire for because of the privileged lifestyles that wealthy or even impoverished whites have over those of blacks. In almost every way, black girls don't have the ability to obtain a stereotypical European aesthetic in a natural manner, and for this reason the culture of resentment towards blackness, an African aesthetic, or dark skin is created within young black girls and their communities. Examples of the resentment of self that blacks have towards themselves is present through history and today. Prior to the emancipation of African Americans, light-skinned babies were seen as a beneficial aspect of life because this trait was seen as protection, security, and possibly even a free life for their children and future generations. Preceding emancipation in the late 1800s, admittance to certain areas in primarily black churches was only available to blacks with lighter skin complexions. In the early 1900s, the commencement of a brown paper bag test was implemented outside of various locations, also primarily comprised of blacks. Now, the brown paper bag test was a system in which a woman would have the ability to be able to enter a certain location if their complexions were lighter than that of a brown paper bag. During the late 1900s, the mass production of skin bleaching creams and hair texturizers were present and distributed to African American communities, and seen as a new positive innovation to black communities. The purpose of the explanations of this colorism present in black communities is to show that aversion that blacks have towards themselves and the affinity that they have towards a European look. This admiration of Europeanism is not a trait that presents itself after childhood development, but is only executed preceding adolescence. Young black girls from a very young age are presented with the images of a successful white through images such as these. But what if the colored girls in their communities were instead bombarded with images such as these? Woman, I see a woman. Could the image and desire to become Barbie slowly cease to exist and alleviate the negative images that black girls have of themselves?